Welcome to the lecture series on the subject botany. Today our topic is taxonomy and diversity of Amaranthaceae. Dear students, in botanical science, traditionally the diverse kinds of plants that we see in this world are grouped under different families. At present, botanists have recognized more than 700 families all over the world. Of these various families, Amaranthaceae is an important family. Dear students, you might be knowing about plants like beetroot, amaranth, coxcomb, goosefoot, etc. Do you know all these plants belong to a single botanical family called as Amaranthaceae. So let us today discuss this family Amaranthaceae. In today's lecture, we will be touching these aspects of the family Amaranthaceae. Number 1, taxonomy. Second, systematic position. Third, phylogeny. Fourth, diversity. Fifth, economic importance. So let us start with its taxonomy. Amaranthaceae is commonly known as Amaranth family. The family was first established as a formal taxonomic category under the name Amaranthaceae by a French botanist A.L. de Gisou way back in 1789. This name Amaranthaceae is actually based on the scientific name of the type genus Amaranthus. Amaranthus is basically a Greek word which means unpadding, due to its characteristic persistent brackets and perianth. Before discussing the taxonomy in detail, let us first of all highlight some of the diagnostic features of family Amaranthaceae. The family members are unique in being herbs to trees with anomalous secondary growth. The leaves are simple and bristle-like pigmented brackets are present. The perianth is uniseriate and comprised of mostly 3 to 5 tepals. Stamens are basally connate. The ovary is unilocular and shows a basal placentation, and seeds are characteristically having curved embryos. After discussing these diagnostic features, now let us start with its habit. The members that belong to the family Amaranthaceae, they can show a habit of annual or biennial herb. Examples are the various species of Amaranthus, Chenopodium, and many other taxa. The members can be also shrubs. One of the example is Greya spinosa, or very rarely some of the taxa that belong to Amaranthaceae, they are also trees. Example can be Charpetra densiflora. The members that belong to the family Amaranthaceae, we have here betalain pigments present, but anthocyanins are always absent. Plants, as already said, they show an anomalous secondary growth. The plants have usually concentric rings of vascular bundles, or they can have alternating concentric rings of xylem and phloem. The plastids of sieve elementis, they have a peripheral ring of proteinaceous filaments, but without a central protein crystal, and these are referred to as P3A type of proteins. The plants often show C4 or CAM photosynthesis. Now let us discuss its root. As it is a dicot, in majority of the taxa we see a taproot system. After discussing root, the stem. The stem is usually jointed, or it can be also succulent. It's often associated with swollen nodes. The nodes are unilacunar and also the stems are hairy. These hairs can be simple to branched. The leaves in Amaranthaceae, they are usually alternate, but they show a spiral arrangement, or rarely we see opposite arrangement of leaves also in Amaranthaceae. Sometimes these leaves, they are aggregated at the base of the plant body. Example is Tylotus. The leaves are commonly exstipulate, that means without stipules, but leaves are with petiolate or sessile condition. The leaf blade is simple and the leaf margins are entire to undulate. Sometimes these leaf margins can be also serrate or lobed. The leaves show pinnate venation, but these veins are often obscure. The leaves are also succulent in some taxa. Example is Hemicroa, or in some taxa, the leaves can be completely reduced. Now let us discuss its floral morphology, starting with its inflorescence. The inflorescence in Amaranthaceae can be either terminal, that means at the top of the plant body, or axillary, that means in the axils of leaves. The inflorescence is usually a cyme, spike, or panicle, but it is characteristically associated with a conspicuous, a prominent, bristle-like persistent bracteates and bracteoles, or in some cases this inflorescence can be completely reduced into a solitary flower. Now the individual flower. The flower in Amaranthaceae is commonly small and greenish and is associated with fleshy to dry, papery bracteates, and these flowers are often densely clustered together. The flowers are commonly bisexual, but we have some species where the flowers are unisexual. In such cases where the flowers are unisexual, the plants can be either monoecious or dioecious. The flowers are actinomorphic and are hypogynous. As we see in dicots, we have the perianth distinguished into calyx and corolla, that means sepals and petals. But Amaranthaceae is a unique case wherein we have no such distinction into calyx and corolla. That's why we have here a perianth comprised of tepals. Tepals in Amaranthaceae are 3 to 5 in number, but rarely they can be 6 to 8 or completely absent. These tepals are green to reddish in color. They are either herbaceous or they can be fleshy. They can be dry or sometimes papery. These tepals are polytepalous, that means they are free from each other commonly, but rarely also we see these tepals can be connate, that means fused at their base. But characteristically in Amaranthaceae, these tepals are persistent. Sometimes they are acrescent in their fruits. Commonly we see this acrescent condition in Tylotus. The aestivation in Amaranthaceae is imbricate. Now the reproductive parts of the flower, starting with androecium. Androecium obviously comprises of stamens, which are 3 to 5 in number, but in rare cases we also see 6 to 8 stamens. Usually the number of stamens is same as that of tepals. In some cases also we have staminodes present. Usually their number ranges from single to 3. These stamens are antitepalous. They are apostomonous, that means they are free from each other, or in some cases we have the filaments of stamens, they are slightly connate at their base. Also these stamens are epitepalous. The anthers at the top of the filamentous, they are inflexed in their bud condition. They are bithecous. Commonly we see the bithecous anthers in Amaranthus, or they can be even monothecous. These monothecous anthers we see in Gompyrina. The anthers are bisporangiate, they are introse, and the dehiscence is longitudinal. The pollen grains in Amaranthaceae, they are characteristically polyporate, and also they are spinolose. These pollen grains are always associated with pores, which are scattered all over the surface of the pollen grain. Now the female part of the flower called as gynoecium. Gynoecium comprises of carpels. Its number ranges from 2 to 3. These carpels are fused together. That's why we call a condition called as syncarpus. The ovary is superior. It is unilocular with a single ovule or rarely many ovules. Example, the species where the ovary is with many ovules is Celosia. The ovules are either campylotropous or amphitropous. These are also bitegemic and crassinucleate. The placentation in Amaranthaceae is characteristically basal. The styles are 1 to 3 and the stigmas are 1 to 3. But these stigmas, they are elongate to capitate, and also they are always papillate. The nectar disc or glands are often present at the ovary. Now the fruit. The fruit in Amaranthaceae is an achene, utricle, or it can be a circumscissile capsule. The fruit is often associated, as already mentioned, with the persistent bracts. The seeds are lens-shaped with an embryo that is curved to spirally twisted. These seeds, they lack endosperm, that's why they are called as X-albuminous, but it is compensated by a starchy perisperm. After discussing the fruit, now let us discuss the pollination system in Amaranthaceae. The usually small, densely clustered flowers of Amaranthaceae are pollinated by either wind or by various types of insects. Both selfing as well as outcrossing may occur in Amaranthaceae. Fruit dispersal. The small, dry fruits or seeds which are associated with acrescent and hairy perianth. These fruits or seeds are usually dispersed by either wind or by water. A few species, they form a burr-like inflorescence that are externally transported by animals. In taxa like Amaranthus, Celosia, the small seeds, they tend to fall from the parent plant, but germinate only when the site is again disturbed. Many seeds are accidentally eaten and thus dispersed by browsing animals. After discussing the taxonomy of Amaranthaceae family, now let us discuss the systematic position of Amaranthaceae. In this part, we will be highlighting few of the prominent classifications. Bentham and Hooker, they classified this Amaranthaceae family under the class Dicotyledons, subclass Monoclamidae, series Curvambri, and the order Caryophyllales. Then, an American taxonomist, Arthur Cronquist, classified it at the rank of division Magnoliophyta, class Magnoliopsida, subclass Caryophyllae, and the order Caryophyllales. Armand Takhtajan, he classified this Amaranthaceae family at the rank of division Magnoliophyta, class Magnoliopsida, subclass Caryophyllae, but he incorporated one more taxonomic rank by superorder. He gave it the rank superorder Caryophyllae, and again the order as the previous two classifications Caryophyllales. Dahlgren gave a classification wherein he placed this Amaranthaceae family under the class Magnoliopsida, subclass Magnolidae, superorder Caryophyllae, and order Caryophyllales. Robert Thorne, he also gave a classification wherein Amaranthaceae is classified under the class Angiospermae, subclass Caryophyllae, superorder Caryophyllae, and the order again Caryophyllales. Angiosperm phylogeny group, they also have proposed a classification for angiosperms wherein this family Amaranthaceae is placed under the clade Coreoeudicots, and the order is obviously the Caryophyllales. Dear students, now let us discuss the third part of the lecture, that is phylogeny. Very recently, the circumscription of this family Amaranthaceae, it has gone major changes. Now the Amaranthaceae is defined in a much broader sense, what in taxonomy we call it as sensu lato, because we have now included many closely related taxa that were previously recognized under a separate family, Chenopodiaceae. Chenopodiaceae is commonly known as goosefoot family. In other words, Amaranthaceae now includes also the taxa that were previously classified under a separate family, Chenopodiaceae. Traditionally, the Amaranthaceae, but in a strict sense, sensu stricto, it was separated from Chenopodiaceae on the basis of many characters. Some of the diagnostic characters were pink or red and dry to papery tepals in the Amaranthaceae, while as in Chenopodiaceae we have green and membranous to fleshy tepals, and also in Chenopodiaceae we have distinct stamens. Such a separation of Amaranthaceae but sensu stricto and Chenopodiaceae seems to be now arbitrary, and that is why it results in a paraphyletic Chenopodiaceae. As we know, paraphyly is not considered as the group in phylogenetic classifications. That is why they have been grouped together under a single family, Amaranthaceae, but in sensu lato sense. Such a separation of Amaranthaceae, sensu stricto and Chenopodiaceae seems to be artificial, and that is why it has resulted in a paraphyletic arrangement. However, recently with the inclusion of Chenopodiaceae, the monophyly of Amaranthaceae is strongly supported both by morphology and molecular evidences. Some of these molecular evidences have been gained from characters like chloroplast DNA restriction sites, RBCL sequences, ORF 2280 sequences. The genera by the name of Polynemum and Nitrophila, these two genera were traditionally included under the family Chenopodiaceae. These two genera are now believed to be sister, that means close to the all other members of the Amaranthaceae, but in sensu lato sense. The remaining members fall into two large clades corresponding to the traditional Amaranthaceae and Chenopodiaceae. Currently, the subfamily and tribal classification of Amaranthaceae mostly uses these characters like ovule number, embryo shape, number of anther locules, pollen structure and perianth form. Genera such as Celosia, Alternanthera, Acheranthus, Gompyrena, Amaranthus and their relatives, they form a natural clade, as these genera possess papery tepals and bracteoles, and they also have monoadelphous stamens. Within this larger clade, the genera such as Alternanthera and Gompyrena, they constitute a subclade due to their unilocular anthers. Other genera such as Atriplex, Chenopodium, Kochia, Celsola, Beta and Spinaceae, they have often fleshy tepals or brackets, and also they have distinct stamens, and thus it forms a separate natural clade. At present, Amaranthaceae sensu lato is divided into 10 different subfamilies. These subfamilies include number 1, Amaranthoideae, exemplified by common genera like Acheranthus, Amaranthus, Boscia, Celosia, etc. The second subfamily is Gompyrenoideae, characteristically exemplified by genera like Alternanthera, Gompyrena and Ericene. The third subfamily is Betoideae. It is exemplified by genera like Beta and Oreoliton. The fourth subfamily is Campharosmoideae. The examples are Basia, Disocarpus and Campharosma. The fifth subfamily is Chenopodidae. Examples are Atriplex, Chenopodium, Spinacia, etc. The sixth subfamily is Coryspermoideae. It is exemplified by genera like Coryspermum and Agriophyllum. The seventh subfamily is Polynemoideae. The examples are Hemicrova, Nitrophila, and Polynemum. The eighth subfamily is Salicornoideae. Examples in this subfamily are Halopeplia, Halostachys, and Salicornia. The ninth subfamily is Salicoiloideae. It is exemplified by genera like Salicola and Halocharis. 10th subfamily and the last one is Saudoideae. It is exemplified by Sauda and by Inertia. After discussing the phylogeny of this family Amaranthaceae, now let us discuss the fourth component of today's lecture, that is the diversity. At present, the family is represented by about 170 genera that are distributed within 2,400 species. Some of the species-rich genera in this family are Atriplex, having 250 species all over the world, then followed by Gomphrena and Salsola, having 120 species each. These are followed by Alternanthera, Chenopodium, Tylotus, Soeda, each having 100 species. Then Ericene having 80 species, followed by Amaranthus with 70 species. And lastly, the Celosia with about 50 species. Members of this family, they show a worldwide distribution. They are distributed from tropics to the cool temperate regions. These are especially common in disturbed, arid and saline habitats. While as the members belonging to the Amaranthaceae but strict sensu stricto, they are predominantly tropical. But those members previously recognized under the family Chenopodiaceae, they are dominant in the regions like dry and warm temperate regions of the world. Many species of Amaranthaceae, they are halophytes. That means they tolerate salty soils and grow in dry steppes and semi-deserts. Lastly, now let us discuss the economic importance of family Amaranthaceae. The members of Amaranthaceae, they are of great economic importance. Some of these uses are, for example, the leaves and roots of many species, such as common name is beet. We have a species by the name of beet, scientific name Beta vulgaris. Spinach, the scientific name Spinacia oleracea. Or even the goosefoot, Chenopodium. And the pigweed, the Amaranthus. They are eaten, all these species, they are eaten as vegetables. The seeds of many species like Chenopodium and Amaranthus, they are used to make flour. Some species of Alternanthera and Tillanthera, they are grown as hedge plants in our gardens and parks. Many species in this family, they are used as ornamentals, common ornamentals. For example, coxcomb, Celosia, amaranth, Amaranthus, globe amaranth, scientifically known as Gomphrena, or even the blood leaf, scientific name is Ericene. Some species by the name of Dysphaenia ambrosioides or the Dysphaenia antithymintica, they are used as medicinal herbs. Some of the species in this family, they are notorious weeds throughout the world. Some of these weed species are alligator weed. Its scientific name is Alternanthera philoxeroides. Or even the weed like spiny amaranth, scientific name Amaranthus spinosus. Or even the goosefoot, Chenopodium album. Or even the prickly chaff flower, the scientific name Acaranthus aspera. These are some of the noxious weeds in this family. Dear students, with this we come to the end of today's lecture, wherein we discussed the taxonomy and diversity of Amaranthaceae. Hope you have enjoyed today's lecture. See you again with some another topic